Was among 3 British troops murdered by a rogue Afghan soldier. The company commander was shot dead in his sleeping quarters at a base in Helmand province. The Taliban says the gunman is now under their protection. But the incidents prompted questions this morning about some of the coalition's key aims in Afghanistan. Simon Newton reports.
They live, fight and in some cases die side by side. The murder of 3 British soldiers by a member of the Afghan National Army will again test that bond.
Tens of thousands of Afghan National Army personnel are fighting with our forces, and almost all of them fight very bravely and indeed have been taking higher casualties than we have. We can't trust every single person who comes in because the level of vetting and the level of control within the Afghan National Army is still not what we would expect of an organised military force.
The rogue soldier, a 23-year-old sergeant, attacked a patrol base at Babaji in Helmand manned by 1st Battalion Gurkha Rifles. 2 British soldiers died when he fired a rocket-propelled grenade into an operations room. He then reportedly machine-gunned a company commander as he slept before fleeing. In November, an Afghan policeman shot dead 5 British soldiers. The Taliban claimed they planted him. A month later, a US soldier was killed by an Afghan colleague. So far, NATO has trained 90,000 Afghan troops. The target is to boost the Afghan army to 171,000 men by the end of next year, recruiting 5,000 Afghan soldiers a month from next spring. As the names of 3 Gurkhas are added to those who've fallen in Afghanistan, the issue of trust between NATO and Afghan forces will once again be questioned, a trust which both politicians and commanders believe is key to the eventual withdrawal of British troops.
British, American soldiers are working alongside Afghans, training them up to be in the army and the police. So you've got to have a lot of trust when you're dealing with people like this. And when something like this happens, I think a lot of the soldiers in these bases are going to turn around and say, well, can we really go on like this?
But David Cameron says the strategy in Afghanistan won't change.
This is obviously an absolutely appalling incident, and our hearts go out to the brave Gurkha soldiers and their families. But I think it's absolutely essential that we don't let this terrible incident change our strategy or change our approach. It is the right thing to do to build up the Afghan National Army.
The Taliban claim the killer has now joined the insurgency. The murder of British soldiers by a supposed comrade in arms will once again raise fears about NATO's exit strategy and when realistically troops can come home. Simon Newton, Sky News at the MOD.
Well, also today the Ministry of Defence